Welcome to another edition of Assembly of Excellence. I hope all is well with each and every single one of you this beautiful, warm Tuesday evening. Always a pleasure to be here with you guys, man, to chop it up. Do me a favor on the way in, hit that thumbs up and share this out to your people. Let the people that know people, let them know the people that know the people so that we can get to know the people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Glory, praise, and honor to the Most High just for being here one more night. We got some stuff to talk about. I'm actually interested and very locked in with this one. We got two of my brothers up here. We're gonna break this down, man. Uh, it's just another one of those conversations that you hear in the barbershop, that you hear in certain spaces that kind of gets thrown around a bit. And I really want to know how you guys feel about this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into this. We're not gonna waste no time. Let me go ahead and bring my bro up here real quick, Mr. Matthews himself. If you're not familiar with him, get familiar with him.
What is going on, my friend?
Salutes to you, sir. What's the word?
Excellence.
I dig the wordplay. That's what's up. That's what's up. How was your work week so far? How has it been?
Productive. It's been very productive. I've been getting a lot done. And it's not just busy work, it's actually productive work, which is even more exciting.
Productive is always good. Absolutely. Absolutely. While my brother Low gets his equipment situated, man. Um, you wanna kick us off with today's topic, man? I'm definitely curious to know your take on this. I know you got some experience in this area, so uh kind of just fill the people in on where we're going with this. I have my view on it, but I want to hear what you got to say about it.
Absolutely. So I'm sure that most people that are listening have heard the term nice guys finish last. And it's often associated with this belief that if you are a good person, then you aren't going to get the things that you deserve or desire. And I'm here to tell you that's complete bullshit. It's not the people that are good people. It's the people who act as nice guys, the men who act as nice guys. For women, it would be the good girl syndrome. It's pretty much the same thing. And what it is, it's the desire to, at all costs, have a pleasing disposition. And the and to do so at the cost of one's own benefit and one's own personality. And excuse me, this does not actually make someone seem like a nice guy or a good girl. In fact, it does the exact opposite. When a nice guy, quote unquote nice guy, decides that he is going to do whatever he can to be pleasing, to be helpful, to be someone that you don't want to that you just want to see as someone who's just nice. What they're doing is they are stripping away their own personality in order to be accepted. And it's a shame that some people do this. You had something to say?
Well, I wasn't trying to cut your wisdom. I was
All right,
just shouting out Anna and Greg.
all right, cool. I just
But
got one last thing to share before I end my piece. So when you do this, you make yourself not someone that could be you make yourself someone who isn't taken seriously. You turn yourself into someone who becomes a doormat. You become subservient. And being subservient is the exact opposite of, and I'm talking to gentlemen in specific here, the exact opposite of what it means to be a leader. To be a leader means to be of service. It does not mean to be subservient. It does not mean that you are walked all over and that your personality is sacrificed in order for the good of others. That's not what it means at all. And it's important to be able to come to terms with how are you able to interact with others in a way that fosters a connection and still be able to assert yourself in a way that others respect and you still get what you need. And this is something that nice guys have not been able to really master. And I'll stop there for right now.
I had to look up the term just for curiosity. And I saw a list. You pretty much checked off on them. And when I think about it, to be honest with you, I know I'm guilty of a lot of it. And I'm sure a lot of us are, where you feel like if you pretty much roll out the red carpet, you say yes to everything, you go above and beyond. That in turn is funny. I was just kind of talking about this earlier. When you pretty much sell yourself short, what you've done is opened the door for people to categorize you in a certain light that you're not going to be happy with. And it's unfortunate that a lot of us do it. I don't know if it's because of some underlining issues that we adopted as we kind of grew up, but just this need to have to prove or provide some sense of gratification to the object of our affection in order for us to feel any type of self-worth is ridiculous, and is costing you a lot more than you think it is. uh I can't say that I'm not guilty of it. I've made a fool of myself on a number of occasions for being overly polite and overly just like me. You know what I'm saying? And all it really does is make people look at you a certain way. And once you got that kind of a stigma put on you, it's hard for you to break out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you addressed a lot of these points. I don't know how much of this you caught low, but we're basically talking and breaking down this nice guy syndrome. I'm curious to hear what you got to say about it. So if you want to chime in, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So if I'm correct, because I didn't get to hear what you, I was busy trying to get in. You know what I mean? So I didn't really get to hear nothing. As far as the nice guy syndrome, from as far as understanding what that's about, is basically like, isn't it like you plan to be the nice guy until what you trying to get don't work and then get mad about it, right?
Kind of. It's the desire to be overly nice and be overly accommodating in order to be accepted. Oftentimes, what ends up happening is a lashing out of behavior, but that's secondary. That's never the primary goal. The primary goal is just to be accepted, to be someone that is not seen as threatening, that is not seen as someone that should be worried about, that they should be concerned about, that you accept at all costs. At least that's what goes in through the mind of someone who's a nice guy or suffers from nice guy syndrome, NGS, I like to call it. But with nice guy syndrome, this is just someone who is unwilling to be conflict oriented, unwilling to really assert themselves, overly permissive with other people, and sacrificing their own boundaries and their own values in order for the acceptance and the approval of others.
There we go. That's pretty much what I read. Right there. Um, yeah. So as far as like, so how do I feel about that? I mean, I don't even know how to feel about it really. 'Cause it's like I just say, people just I always tell people just to be themselves. Don't try to be something you're not, and that's including that. So I mean, but I know there's many people out there that actually do it. You know what I mean? So I'm not particularly one, so I can't really say per se like how that actually feel.
Actually, there's a huge number of people that suffer from this. A stat that I read from a leading psychologist who wrote who basically wrote the book on this. The book is called No More Mr. Nice Guy. I forget the off the top
I
of my
heard
head.
about that. I heard about it. I ain't get to read it, but I heard about
Yeah, Dr. Robert Glover.
it. Yep.
He
Yep.
wrote literally wrote the book on this. And there was a statistic that he gave out. I don't know. I don't know if there's any stats, but I know that it's something that is increasing. And one of the reasons why it's increasing is because there are more men specifically who are being told that the way that they naturally are is not good. That they are not being rewarded for acting like men, for being masculine, for wanting to be leaders, for being ambitious, and for basically going after what they want, for showing masculinity, doing shit and leading to the things that the masculine people do. And because of that, they're feeling the two things that ultimately will result in nice guy behavior, especially when it's done as children: emotional abandonment and rejection. And boys who experience this and experience this traumatically, it could be that their father leads are are unwilling to allow their boys to grow up into men and are stifling them, um, and and being a force that is preventing them from doing what they have to do because whatever their own stuff that's going on, or they are surrounded by people who constantly try to emasculate them and make them feel less than by their desire to be a man. These things will result in a person who develops behavior of being non-confrontational. And this is a survival mechanism. This is not a pattern of emotionally regulated behavior. This is a pattern of survival. It's called fawning. And it happens when a person is in a state of being where they're just traveling through life. They are just kind of coasting. And I know this for a fact because I used to be this way. I used to be that kind of guy who was just coasting through life, wanting people to like me, doing whatever I could to be accepted, to belong, and not wanting to ruffle any feathers. And there's still some times when I still struggle with that. When I still have the reaction to act that way. I'm like, no, we're not doing that anymore. We don't have to do that anymore because you are a man, and this is how men act. And it's people who don't understand nice guy syndrome don't understand how damaging the behaviors must have been for someone to have this as their chronic way of life, to go through life situations in this way of needing to be someone that's not going to draw attention to themselves, that's not going to take risks, that's not going to engage in any kind of conflict, that's not going to push the envelope just a little bit, is not willing to risk an argument in order to get ahead, learn, or gain influence. And that's not living, that's waiting to die. And it's something that I really have taken on as a mission of being able to help people wake up from, because I know how damaging it is. And I know I just got kind of soapboxy. I apologize for that.
You're good, bro. No, I mean, I have a question for you, bro. So it was one of the things I caught that I wanted to I guess get a different look on it. Why would why would we need a reward for being a man, for being what we were supposed to be? Just wondering. It was something I heard when you said it, I was like, it was flat. Like, why would we need, because I know for me personally, I can only speak for personally. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
What would be a pound of back for me to change my daughter's diaper? Nah, man. So I'm like, that's what I was wondering. You know what I mean? Huh?
It's not about that. It's the lack of punishment. It's the reward is the just being allowed to act as men.
Now
And
I got you. I get you.
Yeah,
I got
that
you
being reinforced through the positive reinforcement that you get when you engage with other men, and the bonding that takes place from that. And people who suffer from nice guy syndrome don't have that. They don't have that sense of camaraderie. They are more likely to associate with women than they are with men, because they are essentially afraid of that masculinity, because they have been told or they have been taught that it is bad, that they are being punished for it, and so they would more likely associate with women and use them as their type of person to associate with, than actually associating with other men.
Got you. Yeah, there's no, I agree with you. Because there is a lot of that going on today where you're right. You know what I mean? They're not allowing. They've been taking away the manly type for a minute now, and then now it's just like, it's really in abundance, like not in a good way either. It's like you said, it's a lot that they've taken that away from. They're just taking that away from us. You know what I mean? Now it seems to be barbaric to be a man, or and things of that nature. So you got this era where everybody's sensitive, and then which also kind of goes to that nice guy syndrome. So a lot of that. No, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, crazy, man.
You said something about survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said something about survival, right?
Yes.
And when I think about it, that type of person, for whatever reason, never experienced or was put in a position where they had to come forward and step outside of that comfort zone and that bubble that they were put behind. And so anytime you see something that might come off as like you said, masculine, or it has a level of assertiveness to it, you don't know how to handle it or manage it because you weren't properly raised to be able to identify it and how to match it and navigate it yourself. So what you end up doing is, like you said, you retreat and regress to other forms of things that keep you comfortable, and ideally it might seem like the good way to go, but in the long run you miss opportunities, you miss out on friendships, relationships. You really screw yourself when you don't know how to set boundaries and you don't know how to articulate and communicate with and women, because it goes both ways. Because if you're not able to be in a room full of individuals who know themselves and know how to carry themselves in a work environment or just out in the community, everyone is essentially going to look at you like you're the weakest link, and you ultimately over time developed this defense mechanism where you kind of create a shelter for yourself. So that's the only thing you know how to do in order to maintain the level of security that you have, but it's not really security at all.
More than that,
And then
you're
on
all.
top of that, what makes it worse?
Go ahead. Sorry.
What?
So
No,
it's
I was just going to add on to it. You got.
So I was just gonna say that it actually goes deeper than that, because not only are you developing these survival mechanisms, but you're looking for reasons why they're valid. And so now what you're doing is you're engaged in self-sabotage. So now you are creating situations because you believe that bad is good and good is bad. You believe that masculinity, which is actually a very good thing, a very necessary thing for men, is bad. And retreating from that and being more permissive and being more submissive is good, which for a man is not good at all. And so not only are you seen as someone who's very different and rather that doesn't really fit in the male sector, and so then you get into conflicts in that way that reinforce, well, I can't be around men, I have to be on my guard around men. You also are seen as someone who is less than by women. Women see people like this as being someone who is not dependable, not reliable, definitely not approachable, because they don't have the qualities that women are looking for in a stable man. And this is biological. When you have a well-adjusted woman and a well-adjusted man, and they meet each other, there's going to be this understanding that this is what I'm looking for. At the very core of who this man is, he has what I'm looking for. He is a leader. He is dependable. He's someone that I can approach and someone that I can learn to trust. And I know that he is going to be the kind of person that is going to provide me the type of environment where I can thrive, where I can really express myself. I can become a source of inspiration for him that he can draw on in order to continue to create the life that we have agreed to. And that becomes very powerful. So when you have a nice guy who has no leadership qualities whatsoever, is not someone that you can really depend on, and is not someone that you see as approachable, well, men, first of all, are going to see this person as being weak, like you said. You are the weakest link. And nice guys also continually portray themselves as the weakest link, as if this is their badge of honor, that they have to, this freaking flag, they have to fly around all over the goddamn place. But also, the women around them are going to see them as, this is not someone that I can trust. This is not someone that I want to create a long-term relationship with. And this is someone that, okay, he might feel a need, but I'm going to have to be his mom. And grown-ass women are not looking to be a grown-ass man's mom. And so it creates a very tense relationship. Now, the men who are nice guys in this relationship also understand this dichotomy. And so they understand that they need to do things in order to make the woman they are attracted to feel like this is someone they want to get to know. So they put on a face, they put on a front. It's not real. It's more of just, look at me, I'm someone that you want to be with. And then they end up overdoing it. They go into the love bombing. They go into the constant appraisals, always being there for them, showing them that they can be someone that they can depend on. But it's overdone. It is way out of proportion, and it becomes smothering. It becomes something that smells, reeks of desperation. And the desperation is what creates these relationships. Like, nah, I gotta go. This is not good. Or the relationship becomes very toxic and very abusive, because now you've got situations where the man is going to do things in order to limit the choices that women can have, in order so that they see them, so that the women see them as the only thing that they need in that relationship, the only thing. And to the men's belief, the nice guy's belief, this is what they're supposed to do. And what they're doing is they are creating the very situation they're afraid of. The women that are being limited, the women that are being lied to, the women that are being seen as just a trophy or as an accessory to the man, the women that are not being considered, their emotions are not being considered, and the women who are being felt like there's an oppositional relationship between them and their guy. These are the women that eventually do exactly what the nice guy is afraid of. And they act in ways that are going to be disastrous for the relationship, and then make the nice guy feel like, well, this is all my fault. This happened because there's something flawed or broken in me. And it continues this downward spiral, this circle of regret and of recrimination and of belief that the way that they are is completely broken, when it's not the case. They were just not paid attention to in the right way. And because of that, they are now suffering from it.
If a lot of men recognize or know that they are under duress, that they operate from that place, and if they do know, what is possibly, because I can't imagine someone knowing and not understanding or knowing how to deal with it versus someone who is unaware that they're doing it. I think that knowing that you're doing it is worse than not knowing that you're doing it, because then you knowing is almost like torment, because I can see that you're probably trying to find ways to get out of it, but you keep hitting dead ends. Or like, say for an example, today is the day that you're going to step out of your comfort zone and you're going to walk into that office or walk out into the public with your head held high. You're going to be stoic and you're going to just mean what you say and say what you mean. And that's that. You're just going to, but then as soon as you get there, it's like, there's a screeching halt. You're face to face with the very thing that you're trying to overcome. And then it's like, I was almost there. I guess I got to start over. Guess we got to try again. How do you coach someone out of that? How do you
Slowly.
talk to someone who doesn't even know that they're doing it?
It's definitely a process. Something
Because
that
here's the thing.
Go ahead. Here's the thing.
I just want to add one thing.
Mhm.
We're going to tell you they're not, and most men aren't going to tell you what's happening. They're just going to go on about their day and about their life. They're going, well, the early bird gets the worm. They're just going to go out here and take. And if you're left behind, you're just left behind. A lot of people are not going to really tell you the truth or say any of what is being said right now to you. They're just going to do them, especially women. They that you're supposed to be. They're not waiting around for you to have that epiphany of life and all of these beautiful moments of nostalgia that trigger you into being the prince or whatever. No. And if there are women who speak to you and tell you these things, they've already made it up in their mind that they do not desire you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a candidate. They've already put you in the friend group, and yeah. So I'll turn it over.
I definitely want to comment on that. I also want to understand. I also want to see if there's anything that Wicked Low wants to say, because I've been talking a lot, and I'd love to hear if there's anything that he has to offer, any thoughts he has.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. For the situation, and and it's a lot of it also has to do with, you know, a lot of it has to do with, you know, we already know what's going on today. Unfortunately, it you get frowned upon for being a man. You know what I mean? And it's corny to be original. It's corny to have your own, you know, to have your own identity, to have your own independence. Everybody wants to be like this person, that person. So it's like follow the false leader. And again, all that still leads back to the nice guy syndrome. It leads back to so many other things. Um, so yeah, I mean I was just, like I said, I just encourage people to really step out the box and really get their independence back. It's crazy. So go ahead, man.
So as to your thank you so much for providing for chiming in, Wicked Low. It's really great to hear your perspective. One thing I do want to add, um, Melvin, is when you have someone who's never experienced this, it's very hard for them to understand why men are acting this way. They have no point of reference. You either know about it or you don't, or you are someone who acts this way, who learns how to not act this way, which then creates the mentors of people who still struggle. And the ones that are well adjusted, they don't understand. They will never understand. They have no perspective. What we're talking about is we're talking about emotional trauma at a very young age. It's called complex PTSD. And emotional abandonment and rejection are the two biggest causes of complex PTSD, especially in children. And because of that, it is a deep-seated subconscious drive to act this way because it's based on survival. How am I going to make sure that I get what I need? Because to a child, abandonment is death. That is what we are dealing with here. That is the complexity of what we are dealing with. A child being abandoned is equivalent to dying because children require adults in order to survive. And if they're being abandoned, then they are being left to die. That's what's going on in their mind. And so now you have this mechanism of how do I keep from being rejected? How do I keep from being alone? And the goal is to not be alone. The goal is to ensure that you are taken care of. And so you create behaviors that make people want to take care of you, usually out of pity. And unfortunately, it doesn't last very long. But for the time that it lasts, you feel like, okay, I am good for now. This is why it's survival, because it is not thriving. It is just surviving and is getting what you need in the moment. And in the moment is all that matters. So the only way that you can coach somebody on this is to be familiar with it. This is one of the few times I will say that you have to experience this in order to be able to coach and mentor on this. Most things you don't. If you want to teach someone how to make money, all you have to do is know principles. Be able to think of it a different way other than what other people think. You want to coach sports, same thing. You want to coach relationships, yeah, for the most part, it's just about understanding base principles that you can show a different box. This, no. This is something you have to have knowledge in, because otherwise there are key nuances you will miss that you will cause the person, your client, to say, he doesn't get me. He doesn't understand. Why would I listen to him? He doesn't know what I've been through. How can he possibly help me if he doesn't understand? And so that's what the dilemma is. How do you help someone when you are well adjusted, unless you've gone through that hell yourself and then come out of it?
I say something. I just want to add on to that. That, and I 100% agree. But that also goes with a lot of what we're dealing with today. No matter if you're an older gentleman or whatever, and you're and like let's say streetwise, we're talking to these young kids. You know what I mean? Because myself once that young kid. If you didn't go through if you didn't just watch your friend get shot, murdered in front of you, how would you understand how would I feel? You know what I mean? So, or pain, whether it's depression, things like that. So a lot of these things in life, you know what I mean, people have to really have been through that hell because, like you just said, and I try to tell this to a friend of mine, and whatever. But I try to say the same thing. If a lot of these things that we're going through, if you try to tell someone, we try to help, but you never really been through it, how can you really explain? I want people to go through any type of hell because even myself been through a lot that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. But at the same time, you know what I mean? When people talk to me, I can clearly understand. You know what I mean? So, But yes, definitely, I agree 100%. But at the same time, a lot of these traumas also, Jay, like it also it doesn't like it. How can I say it? It's also comes along after the childhood as well. You know what I mean? So a lot of it doesn't always have to stem from childhood. It can stem from mid childhood. It can you can actually gain this as you grow up through trauma and situations that you're going through, which cause you to get to this state. So, but regardless of the matter, though, I definitely agree.
I want to say, I got you. I got you. I got you. One thing, because I do have some experience with this, and somebody might need to hear it. I do want to point this out because I actually had to mention this earlier. Everybody is not for you. Everybody is not going to like you. Trying to be better than Jesus in all reality, and everybody didn't like him, but you're trying to make it to where everybody loves you. It just ain't going to happen. On top of that, every woman that you lust after or you have some type of affection for is not for you. Every guy that you try to make your friend and you try to fit in with is not for you. And I think the problem is you'll tend to feel as though you have to be a part of something to feel complete. And that is dead wrong. The genetic makeup that is you is good enough. It is for who it needs to be for in the time and in the seasons that it's supposed to be for them. But only you know that, and only you can develop that confidence, and only you can walk in that and understand that you're not going to please everybody, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to move how you feel in your soul and in your thoughts and your mindset has to be aligned with God and everything. It can't just be wavering and struggling to try to. No, it just doesn't move that way. And it took me a very, very long time to accept that.
So yeah, this is something that once you get, you get. And when you understand what the game is, when you understand what the rules are, then you know how to play, and that's when you win. Something wicked, something you had said about trauma, I do want to elaborate on, because yes, traumas can happen all over the place. You can experience traumatic events, whatever they might be, at any age in your life, and they will affect you. However, as a child, you don't have context for resilience. And so when you experience something as a child, especially abandonment and rejection, it affects much deeper. It becomes part of your behavioral makeup, because this is the most formative level. They call them formative years for a reason, because we're forming our identity. We're forming who we are based on the experiences that we have, the people that we trust, and how we relate to them. And as an adult, experiencing most things, not all, but most things, we have an incredible ability to bounce back, especially if we have a well-adjusted childhood, one where we feel emotionally supported and we feel like we are taken care of. That one part above everything else is the most important piece, the emotional support and the ability of and the belief that we're being taken care of. And that creates more resilience, more of a buffer than most other things. And this isn't true for everything. You're right. There are some things that we can experience that really can affect us on a deep, deep level, make us question everything we thought we knew about ourselves, our world, and the people around us. But as we get older, our ability to bounce back from that increases. And our ability to understand what we know about ourselves and how we can use that as a way of being able to overcome adversity becomes huge. This is why this is why it's called complex PTSD for children, because the resulting actions that created the emotional response that children have is complex. It's not as easily to it's not as easy to address as it is for adults. And again, that's not for everything. It's just for most things.
Definitely, definitely. And yeah, like I said, both of I I definitely understand and I definitely agree with you. Um, as far as even what I've learned in the studies I've studied, you know what I mean? Just going through like, understanding, doing the research and a lot of things myself. So I definitely get what you're saying. That was just the only thing I was saying, like, because there are people who don't come back from a lot of trauma. You know what I mean? There are tons of people. It's a big world, So there's you're right. There's a lot of people who can come back. There's a lot of people who can't come back. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who won't come back who don't want to, for whatever the case is. But yeah, complexity too. I get it. It's, yeah.
And I don't want to play down experiences that people have, because things that affect us deeply, they need to be honored. They need to be respected. They need to be shown the kind of respect for what they are. And so if you're someone who's seen someone gunned down right in front of you, for most people, there's no context for that. And so it creates a whole new set of emotions. Like, what the F?
Right.
It deals with mortality. And so it deals with things that are along the same lines of emotional support and being taken care of. In that moment, we don't know if we can be taken care of because we just saw someone get gunned down by another person right in front of us.
Right.
And there's no way of being able, or not no way, but it's very hard to come to terms with that. And those who have I like what Mad Mystic has to say. I want to address that in just a moment. It's much harder to come back from that when you do have a childhood where you don't feel like you're supported or emotionally taken care of, or emotionally supported and taken care of, and that makes it even harder. So I really appreciate what you have brought to the table, Wicked Low, because you were absolutely correct.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
So Mad Mystic talks about how the irony of the nice guy syndrome. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm still in your show, man. That's not my job.
No, you're fine. You was about to read his comment. I was going to do the same thing, so you good. So
Great. It's a life.
he said the irony is nice guy syndrome is at roots similar to the macho strongman type. In one aspect that's shown teaching others what to expect with hope of getting attention to fill void. yet it denies other aspects that get repressed. When they finally show, people are surprised, typically unpleasantly. No balance this way.
This is really insightful, and it's very true. There's a lot of correlation between the two of these. In fact, nice guys oftentimes revert to the macho man lifestyle because they are trying to overcompensate. Again, it's doing too much, regardless of whether it's trying to please through actions, either please through being subservient because of wanting to show that you aren't a threat, or the desire of being exactly what women are looking for, but doing too much of it. So it becomes toxic. It becomes something that ultimately becomes potentially dangerous. And in both of these cases, it is an imbalance. Absolutely correct. And it is a desire to get the belonging that one never had.
And I'll testify to that because my mother, God rest her soul, I love her to death. Even after all these years, I wanted her affection. I wanted her to be motherly and to do all of those just those Hallmark card type commercial things that you see every Christmas. I wanted that. That was not the lifestyle that I got out of her or from her. And my journey was that of a chaotic one, searching the seas for someone who resembled her or something like that, or maybe better. And what I always found was a repetition of what I thought was good, but it wasn't. And so it definitely did a lot of damage. This particular subject hits home for me way more than a lot of people could probably imagine. And that's why if I ever was to sit down and have a one-on-one with someone who were going through something similar, I'd be able to talk to them about it. I know exactly what to pinpoint. I know what to look for. I know what is what, and I could definitely tell you, like, it is not fun. It's not something to be proud of. It's not something to be ashamed of, neither, because everybody's development is at a different rate. Everybody catches on and learns at different time spans. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's worth putting some time in. If you don't do therapy or counseling, I invest in fellowship of some sort with someone who has the experience or uh, is at a place in their life where you're going to get what you need from it and not what you want from it, because you don't want to continue to spend your life chasing ghosts and in the perceptions of what others believe or deem to be one way when it's something else. And then what happens is you spend life holding in what you are and who you are, and then 20 years later, 15 years later, everything that you had inside of you comes out, but it doesn't come out the way that you want it to come out. Or if you're fortunate enough and God has been working with you, you can hone it and then focus all of that's bottled up emotion and whatever, and you can put it in areas that's going to help you.
A lot of the people that
Jason definitely spot on, Mike.
please continue.
No, I'm just reading the comments, bro.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh, no, you can continue with what you were saying. I'm just
All right, cool. One thing that I found, and I love how there are so many men that are either in the comments or on even on this panel who are sharing. This is not something that men can easily feel like that they can share about because they feel like they're going to be rejected. They're going to be seen as broken or effed up in some way. And being able to have this conversation is really great. I'm really enjoying this. One thing that I wanted to say that something that Mad Mystic talked about was the idea of these two extremes: the one who's subservient and the one who is overcompensating with over aggression. And this reminds me of the whole of those two dynamics of the nice guy and the bad boy, and how they are both the exact same person who are acting in different ways, showcasing the abandonment they feel and the rejection that they suffer from. And two different ways of being able to go about it, and both ultimately have the exact same outcome, that their relationships are either lacking or they are dissatisfied. They feel empty. They feel like they aren't getting exactly what they need, and they're looking for that person who is going to help them understand who they are. And it's one of those things where when you begin to have this kind of conversation and people are willing to open up about it and share their experiences, what they are really dealing with, and how this is affecting them, it's the only way that you can really begin to heal from this. What's up, Christy?
Hey, Christy. What's up?
Okay. No, wait, just give a old woman a minute, all right?
All right, son. Yeah,
Hello, everybody.
and yeah, brother Mel, I definitely agree, bro. Like, yeah, I agree with that. With what you guys were talking about, Mel. Definitely, we spoke on the topic before because I myself have lost both parents, including grandparents, so both sets as well. And that in itself is a hard journey. It causes you to kind of, you know, redo in a bad way. It causes you to lose yourself in a bad way. So you still end up being kind of that nice guy syndrome, or worse. Me personally, when even though I do share my experiences, and I actually came to a point where I empowered the brokenness because it made me into a different. It made me more understand a lot better. But I looked at it in a more of a positive, in a different way as far as being broken. You know what I mean? Because of the many situations. We'll get now that I got linked up with you. We'll probably talk about it later on, or maybe so I can get some little more understanding. Because I'm never opposed to getting more understanding and more knowledge about things. Um, but yeah, it'll cause you to kind of lose yourself. You know what I mean? So a lot, man. There's so many things we can go through on this planet. You see.
Absolutely, yeah. It's what I found is the thing that really does the best for men to overcome this nice guy, whether it be nice guy, bad boy, this sense of needing something. The best way to overcome that is really to learn how to become the leader that you were meant to be, the leader that men were born to, the birthright of leadership that they were supposed to be told about when they were young. Being able to develop that, there's no age in which it's the wrong time to develop that quality of leadership. And when they do, man, the way that things change once they begin to really own their leadership potential, and they begin to lean into it and work towards it, there is an instant difference in the way that other people see you. Other men and women will see you differently the moment that you decide that you are going to act as a leader and you follow through. It is almost instantaneous because it is that powerful. The quality of men wanting to be leaders is that powerful that it becomes noticed, especially when it's done in the right way to be of service.
Definitely agree. Definitely agree.
I was just about to agree with you. Interesting enough, I always go back to God in these scenarios because He's the one who knows you better than anyone else. So who better to guide and bring you into your fullness than him? Because quite frankly, humans, what I've had to accept and embrace is the fact that humans are humans. We're unreliable. We are dismissive. We are passive. We are abrasive. We are fickle. We are just a ball of inconsistencies with this self-righteous attitude, and a great majority of us never fully develop into who we should be and what we can be. And it's very sad and it's very praise and honor to the Most Highs because each and every single day between me learning how to develop tougher skin in harsh environments to being put in positions that test my will to win and my will to go to him and not anyone else has opened my eyes and my ears to the realities of what I see and what I interact with on a regular basis. People are a blessing and they are a curse in many ways. In some instances, they will show you how to be the person that you're supposed to be through gossiping, through them trying to shame and put you down. But then on the flip side, they also can speak life into you. It's all in whatever walk you're taking. And for me, and I know for a lot of folks who need to really actually take this in, I gotta reiterate this because it's very important that you get this in your head. Just because she's pretty or because you see him with all of the flyest suits and the nicest vehicles and he's the loudest person or whatever, just because you see so many intimidating things aesthetically and internally coming off of a person does not negate the fact that you have intangibles within yourself that are just as important and needed. And the minute that I stop worrying about whether or not I impress anyone is the second I became the freest person in the world. Now I can take off. Now I can go as far as I want. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't care about my opinions. I don't care at all. And I think that's a lot of the mindset that we got to have. Everybody wants love, camaraderie, and friendships. Everybody wants to have these special movie nights and these gatherings of men where we can hang out and whatever you decide to do within that group. Everybody wants it. That it's just in us to want that type of stuff. But at what cost? And how much patience do you have to really have the things that you actually are supposed to have for you? And that what is manufactured and forced on you. Forcing relationships and bonds and friendships never work. Forcing yourself to be something that you're not does not work. You're going to have to stop caring and do you and take more time on you and focus on you. Being nice and having boundaries is a level of balance that I think a lot of people get conflicted and confused with. I know because I've overly done it. Overly. And now because of me overly doing it, I have to balance that out now. And I have to set stern boundaries with people, folks that I've known for years and years and years. Even folks that I'm now just coming into contact with, I have to move differently. Understand and I recognize what my part in it. And there's things that I had to break. There's things that you're going to have to break too. And I concede the mic.
Christy, it seemed like you had something you wanted to say.
Christy or Lowell, anyone who might have anything. Yeah,
Well, I'm sorry
I want to
that
make sure
I
you had
came in
time
late.
to get your.
Oh snap! Okay, I was. All right. Hi, everybody. How are you, gentlemen? So, what I just was, because I came in late, but I know exactly what the topic was, and I was listening to y'all. And my thing is this: that I think that some people are confused about being nice, and what they can do for people versus those that are weak, and how they can be used by people. Okay, for example, I had a dear friend, lifelong friend, that just became so bitter because he couldn't get with women that were, that he knew he could treat right. And he's like, why does this one like this? Well, and it's like, because you're not coming in with strength, with leadership, you're coming in like, I will do anything that you need me to do. And then she's like, oh, wow, thank you, and everything else. And yeah, she's going to look at you as a friend because you're doing things that what solid friends would do. Then all of a sudden you want to flip it and be like, hey, I don't want to be friends anymore. I want to be with you. And it's like, you're not on the same page. Secondly, like I said, that, it's a difference between also confidence and arrogance in a man. So if you're coming up to a woman and you got a lot of arrogance, stuff like that, that's so ugly. It's juvenile. It's not good looking on anybody. Arrogance is ugly. When you have confidence, not having to sit there and be somebody else, but be yourself. and not rush things, because if you can't find somebody, like if I can't find somebody that's a confident man that understands, knows what's going on, has an interest and everything, but being nice, like I said, then that's cool. But we don't want weakness, meaning somebody who can't step up to that plate. So that's an arrogant man. That's a man with a chip on his shoulders. That's that kind of man like that. I don't care. Nope, it's not going to work. So I just wanted to add that in real quick.
That's a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Nice guys, the ones who suffer from nice guy syndrome, are more likely to be friend zoned than any other kind of person. And when they are friend zoned, they do become very bitter, because what they're doing is they're creating contracts that the other side never agreed to. They're creating
Yes.
they're creating conditions saying, well, it's like a quid pro quo, this for that type of agreement. I'm going to do this for you, and you're going to do that for me. And the only problem is that it was never agreed to. So yeah, you're saying, yeah, I'll do anything for you. And their mind is saying, yeah, if I do that, maybe she'll sleep with me. And they wonder why it never happens that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it was a overt contractual agreement, yeah, I'll do this for you if you'll go out with me. That's, well, first of all, that takes balls. That's confidence. And it's also going after what you want and being explicit, being transparent. People love transparency. I have never been in a relationship with a woman that did not respect transparency. And the more likely you are to be transparent, to be transparent with your motives and your desires, not like emotionally dump your life story. That's wrong in itself. But the ability to just willing to let know, yeah, sure, I'll do this for you, but it's going to cost you, and nothing in life is free. And having that sense about them that I can ask for this because I deserve it, and I know what I want, and I'm not going to wait for someone else to pick up on my hidden agenda, because very few people that I know are mind readers, and most of them that are suck at it. They're not going to pick up on your cues of what you want. Your deepest desires are going to remain secret deepest desires if you don't share them. And that's why I love what you had to say, Christy, because it goes right into that if you're friend zoned, well, then take it as a clue. You messed up. Your game was off.
Mm-hmm.
Try again with someone else.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree.
So,
and
let
that's
me-
all
let
I'm
me
saying is
ask-
that. Oh, go ahead. You're lagging a little bit.
Let me ask this question since we on that subject. It's probably I need to stay still. Let me ask y'all this question real quick, man, since we on that subject. So if the person friend zones you, does that mean that the person respects you? Or is there a lack of respect? Because I was actually going to save this for another day, but since we here, I might as well go ahead and get it out the way now. Does the woman respect the person that she friend zone?
I wouldn't say it's not. She can still respect you and friend zone you. She can respect you enough to friend zone you. So it depends on how you look at it as an individual. It's not necessarily whether she respects you or not, because she can still respect you enough to say, hey, we can still be friends, and you know what I'm saying? So yeah, absolutely.
What are you, Christy? I'll share my thoughts afterwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, basically, I agree with Wicked Low. because when I know that a man, if he doesn't have what I am actually looking for, and I'm like, okay, he's not that kind of person that I can be in a relationship with, but he's good enough person to be a friend, then that's exactly the qualities that you need to have to even enter into my life. So if you can't come in with the basics into my life and say, you know, hey, look, this is my intent, like Jason was saying, if you don't share your intentions with me, I don't know what in the world you want me to do when you're put in the friend zone. Because really, it would be nice to be friends first before we start doing all kinds of other stuff. You know what I mean? I got to know that you're reliable. I got kids, even though mine are grown, you know, so therefore you got to be careful with that arrogant guy. Yeah, I got a son. I'm just playing, y'all. But anyway,
You
yeah,
ain't
so
playing, girl.
because the thing of it is that everybody always thinks because they're nice guys that they're not going to get the person that they want. And that's not the case at all, because people got to look at it. How's your attitude? Are you still bitter and walking around bitter because you couldn't get them kind of girls that you want? It's a mindset change. So yeah, when you're in the friend zone, and sometimes it happens with people that they become friends for a couple years, then all of a sudden they find out that they are right for each other. So, you know, it's not about because you're nice that you're not going to get it what you know, but you have to know your intent. As Jason said, you know, and as Wicked Love was saying that, yeah, come on now, there's nice guys that we want, and it's not, and if they don't want them, and you're seeing that these women are being repetitive with certain things going on, then you need to stay away from that type of energy. Don't be upset and be like, oh, this person is going to shoot me down because I'm nice, you know, and stuff like that. And okay, are nice guys finishing last and all that other stuff like that? Some of them do because they need to know that they're worth something more than somebody who's going to just sit up there and use their money or whatever the case may be, use them and just throw them away, you know. So in my perspective, it's be nice, be you, but don't be bitter. Make sure that your heart and your mind is not cluttered with any bitterness or resentment because of these ones out here that run around and they want somebody loud, they want somebody stupid and dumb and you know, got the flashy cars and all that, but guess what? That's not where it's at. It's within the brain and the heart. And what are you willing to do as a man to help out, you know? And yes, it takes them a little bit of time, but if you don't bring out that intention, guess what? You miss out. And then you're there again, being bitter until you're old and still complaining and why. So I yield to Jason.
So when I was in the military, many years back, we're talking about like almost 10 years ago now. I was riding the bus to this training exercise, and there's one guy who had a Chris Rock comedy CD with him, and it was during the time when Chris Rock was on fire. He was good, and he had this one skit that he had where, and this is where I go with nice guys. Like, have you ever heard of the term "the dick in the glass"? In case of emergency, break glass. That's the nice guy. The one who you look at as a last resort. Women who have nice guys who have them friend zoned respect them as women, and they don't respect them as men. And the only reason why they would ever think of getting with someone like that is if there was no other option and they are desperate as hell. In case of emergency, break glass.
Wow. I didn't know that term, but yeah, that's exactly what I believe too, is that you can respect somebody.
I called it being
Okay.
Oh, I just want to get this out. I just want to get this out. I call it, and I heard this on a TV show This and the guy was pissed. He was mad. It was a comedy sitcom. He was just like, man, I am not your emotional tampon. And that stuck with me. I just wanted to put that out there.
You had to wait until I came on, didn't you?
Oh shit. Yeah, but I think most
Nah, because
That-
the way that it was described, it was like you literally pull the toy out, or whenever you're not getting what you need from your main character. So you go to your bed stand, you go in there and you grab out, and yeah.
I'm just waiting to hear somebody say that in public. That's all.
So this is a good example of. Oh, go ahead, Christy. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you go first, Jason. I'll follow behind you.
Okay, so this is a good example of asking great questions. So if a person is going to say that, the question becomes, what is it that made the woman think that that's what he was, or that was the role that he had? And this is the responsibility for the man to really figure out, how did he get pushed into that role? What did he do? How did he co-create that experience with that lady? Because I guarantee you, it didn't just happen by accident. It wasn't just that the woman was like, you look good. I'm going to use you as my emotional tampon. It didn't just happen that way. There was an interaction that was had where the man helped to co-create that kind of experience. So he needs to figure out what he did to make that possible. Go ahead, Christy. I'm done.
Thank you, Jason. I agree, because they don't look. And my friends, I would always tell them, like, when they were asking me, like, how come this guy is getting different women and things like that, and it was like, you know what? You're not bringing your intentions forward, and you're falling back on what you feel, and now you feel rejected because now all of a sudden you are the friend. You've been there. Now all of a sudden you're like, well, why am I right here? And it's like, because you didn't see, we could see hidden motives. We can understand and feel that, and we can play that right up on you and against you as the emotional tampon. If you're going to use us in a way, or try to trick us into being with you or whatever, by being nice, by trying to say that you can be that kind of friend, and you can't live up to it, then and to the expectation of that woman, then why are you even trying to, in the beginning with, why are you trying to play games? You got to understand how you got there to not be able to go into a relationship with someone. And you have to look within yourself, and that's why I'm just wanting to chime in, because men have a different notion to the women that they want. And it's like, look at who you want. You want somebody who's flashy already, right there, money. Okay? So if they're looking at money and they're looking at everything else and what they want in a relationship, then you just need to walk away and not be that friend, period. Like I was telling my friend, like, I mean, this girl gets you to drive an hour to her house, to come get her at 4 o'clock in the morning, to take her to the airport, which is another hour or so away. Now, wait a minute, she just broke up with her boyfriend and all that, but you're taking her places and stuff like that. But then you're wondering, like, now you're confused, and it's not us being confused. You're sending out the wrong messages. So bottom line, stop it. If you don't want to be in a friend zone and you've already made your intentions known, don't keep them hidden. Once you do that, you're going to have that respect, but stay in your lane, stay in the course of who you can deal with, and stop talking about she's so pretty and everything else, and she looks so good and everything else, you know what I mean? I'm interested in her, boom, and everybody's going to have that kind of attraction to somebody, but why are you attracted to them? Does that, so that's what all I got to say, really, at this moment. Wicked Low, come on, talk.
Nah, I agree. I mean, I mean, sometimes you can use a friend, someone to lean on, but I don't know, man. I don't even see what the problem is. I mean, because when I look at everything, I'm like, all right, just be alone. What's wrong with being alone? You know what I mean? I guess people can't be alone, but like, be alone, work on yourself. Read a book, do something. I'm sorry, like if you can't get it, well, be alone then. You know what I'm saying? Palmer, Palmer and Thumbelina. Be alone. Read a book. You dig? So I'm just saying.
Yep.
I'm just saying. I don't. So what happened, bro?
Well, one thing that I will say is, on a more serious note, if you're a guy who's been friend zoned by a girl, there's only one thing that you can do: find a different girl. Because the moment that you get friend zoned, what she's telling me is that I can't trust you to be the man that I need to be. And unless you're willing to put in the time it's going to take to prove a consistent pattern of proving her otherwise, she's already made up her mind. She believes that your predictable pattern is going to be of someone that is unreliable as a man. And so it's time to really move on, unless there's something about that woman that makes you feel like, I can't, I won't. I will make sure to prove to this person. And there's going to be a good damn reason why you're going to do that, why you're going to put yourself through that kind of hell. Because when a woman has made up her mind, and she does so pretty quickly, it's hard to, Christy, tell me if I'm wrong. It's hard to make it to change that mind, especially when it comes to mating habits, when it comes to finding a man that they can trust. This is something that's deep ingrained biological. Mm-hmm. And they need to know that the person they're going to take is from the get-go showing the kind of behaviors that they're looking for. Am I wrong, Christy?
No, you're absolutely right, because I don't want anybody to think that, it's not something that's possible, but Jason is absolutely correct from the get-go. Everything has to be right up in the get-go, and we got to be able to talk about it. We got to be able to have those conversations like we talked about all the time, communicating. And it's cool. It'd be like, oh, okay, well, you like me? Like, oh, okay, I'm flattered, and I like you, you know what I mean? You don't know sometimes because, like Jason said before, we're not mind readers. And I want to say something about what Mad Mystic said. He said, geez, Christy. I'm so direct, poor buggers. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I was always direct, but then I always attracted the guys who wanted to see if they had a shot with me, and they knew that they did. And I'm like, look, you have no, I don't even want to deal with you on that level. Oh, no, but you know what? One day you're going to, and all that stuff, And I'm like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want to be with you, And some people couldn't get that direction of getting no, because it wasn't about their looks or anything else. It was that we're not compatible. So I am direct, and I am one to sit up there and want to talk about things, but it doesn't mean I don't need a strong man. That's the problem. But I'm willing to wait. I am willing to be celibate. Okay? And that's what I'm doing, because I'm tired. I'm tired of giving away the goods to the freaking fools out here in this world that think that they're nice guys. No, you're not. You're arrogant, you're weak, you're pathetic, and just like Wicked said, you can't even read a book. Try to read. You know what I mean? Instead of getting everybody trying to get any woman and all this stuff. And two, there's a lot of them that play too many games, and you've seen it before. The ones who play on the heartstrings. I'm sorry.
I want to just try to deconflict terms here, because I don't think you're looking for a nice guy. I think you're looking for a good gentleman.
There we go.
And nice guys are people who are not nice. They're the ones who are looking to you saying, oh, there's a challenge. I want to see if I can break her. if I can actually get what I want from her. That's what these pathetic little bozos are looking for. They're looking for the relationship. They're looking to conquer a challenge, and they will never they will never meet your standard. And the fact that you don't lower yourself to their standard, that's hats off to you. And you're right. What you need is someone who understands you, who understands why you are acting the way that you are acting, and can give you what you need, so you feel comfortable stepping back and saying, "I trust that you will lead. I trust that you will lead well, and I'm willing to inspire."
Thank you, Jason.
And the moment that you find that, you will know that you found your man. Being direct there's nothing wrong with being direct. It means that you know exactly what you want. And if men are going to be intimidated by it, you're just looking at some other nice guys. And these are not men that you want to consider, because you're looking for a good gentleman.
Exactly. That's it. And that's what a lot of people want to have, is a good gentleman. We need to have that. And when also, I don't need to be nobody else's mother. I have a mother of 3. I'm not going to house you, feed you, you playing games, Xboxes, and different Fortnites and Night Forts and all kinds of different stuff that's going on out here. But then you want to have sex, you want to sit up there, and you need some money, some change to get on the bus and all. No. I don't even know what's going on. I don't even know who you're talking to anymore, because you done lost me somewhere in the midst, because I have to stand up. And I had to keep on doing that. I had to be the one, since I was 16 years old, to provide a roof over my head, my children's heads. Okay? So now that they're grown, I'm not going to be your mother. And I want to hear what y'all have to say on this one, because it seems like most of them wanted a mother figure, somebody where they can lay up and stuff like that and not be responsible for bills and things of that nature. So, boom.
Boom, son. A lot of that is laziness, to be real. I'm sorry. Yeah. A lot of times men look for what they see in their mother, whether they're doing it intentionally or whether they're not. But as far as that extra stuff, that's just pretty much today's society and people, and dudes being lazy. They want the woman to do everything, and like you said, they ever play Fortnite, Xbox, whatever, PlayStation, and just want to sit there and not do. I mean, that's just what that is, unfortunately.
And see, they're not always looking for their mothers, is what I'm saying, is that they're looking to be mothered.
No, that's what I'm saying. Not
because sometimes it's not about, if they were to look at their mother, they might have a chance of having somebody good.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, as I'm saying, they look for that quality in a way. You know what I mean? Like, not specifically mothers, but that quality, that unconditional love type of quality, that certain qualities that their mother has, or whatever, or had, or whatever the case is. Sometimes they look for, whether they do it intentional or unintentional. But regardless of the matter, that's just one aspect of it. But a lot of the other stuff is just due to this laziness and not wanting to do anything. You know what I mean? So, we all seen it. We all seen it.
This actually goes into the nice guy complex. What you guys are talking about, looking to be mothered. This is part of the nice guy complex, the nice guy syndrome. So it's all part of it. And these male specimens, they don't take responsibility because of how they have not been as children. They have not been emotionally attended to, and they haven't been emotionally cared for, and they haven't been what was the term that I used before? I forget. But basically, their emotions haven't been attended to, and they haven't been felt like they are secure with the people that they can trust. And I'm telling you, that is one of the worst traumas that you can experience, especially as a child.
So don't you think that they need assistance, Jason? That's something that may be lacking, is the fear,
Oh,
the
hell
fact
yeah.
that they don't identify and say, wait a minute, I am emotionally depleted, or I need something emotionally, and so therefore therapy will help instead of trying to get women right now. Like, wouldn't that be kind of a I mean, I don't know. If you don't have good guys around that can tell you, hey, look, man, this is what's going on with you. I'm trying to figure out what other way that men can actually take control and say, look, I need help in certain areas, and which is going to better me. Don't do it because you want to get a woman. You need to do it because you just emotionally got spent, or you did not have enough.
The best way to overcome this, the ideal best way, is to be surrounded by men who can patiently and kindly show the nice guy the ropes of being a good gentleman. Barring that, since those are very few and far between, those examples, finding someone who can coach them, who's been there, who knows who knows what it's like and has come out the other side. Show them how they can lead well, because men who learn how to lead, I've said it before, when a man learns how he can lead, this becomes the best antidote for their ills, because now they're practicing what they're supposed to do. So someone like me, who works with these kinds of men, if they're looking for if they're looking for the right relationship, I'm their guy, because I show them how to lead in relationships. But spoiler alert, it also shows them how to lead in life, because it's all connected. So it's all about showing men how to lead well and what it takes to be a stable leader.
That also goes for the ones that don't want to listen, because you do have
to
select few
make
that
sure.
don't want.
You are absolutely correct. A part of that is because of ego. Nobody wants to be told that they are a simp, and that's what most of these red pill communities highlighted as. You're not going to see it titled "Nice Guy Syndrome." No, you're going to see simp gives his entire trust fund to 304. That's what you're going to see titled. And I don't know if that's just clickbait to draw in a certain bitter demographic, or they're really trying to bring some type of light to these people one way or another. I don't know if I'm really behind that approach, but we did touch on this a couple times throughout the show. The fellowship is definitely important, especially in these type of spaces. You can't. I don't know what it is. A lot of guys are using hazing as a means to snap men back into reality. I don't know if that's the best course. You might just push a lot of them folks over the edge. But that's just me. Man, Mystic said that's a rational answer. Men in that mindset revert to chasing the fix if they haven't developed emotional maturity.
So,
Was responding
said-
to Christy's question. Jason is spot on.
yeah, like I said, I was in the military, and I was in the military for 10 years. And when I was first going through training, and anytime that I was the FNG, the fucking new guy, and I, yeah, if you didn't know that, that's what that stands for. Whenever I was in that situation, I endured hazing, and it was the kind of thing where I've come to understand that the reason why people haze is because what they are doing is they are releasing some of that pent up frustration out on someone else, because there is no context by way they should respect this person yet. And if they're going to respect this person, they're going to have to earn it. But as it has been pointed out, this is the wrong way to interact with people, because it can push a person over the edge. And unless the person is resilient enough to bear the brunt of it, they're going to crack. And the results are going to be terrible. I mean, just watch the movie Full Metal Jacket. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a part of the military as it was college, right? Yeah, to make men stronger through that is to, because my father served military. So hats off to you, Jason. I really appreciate that. That's something that's been a long line in my family is military. And yes, in that way, I got to see my father lead with strength and all, but he also had a humility to him. He had a way about him in which you were able to relate to him. He didn't have to tell his what was me type of stories or anything like that. The way that my father was the kind of man that I don't know if I will ever see as much of as I did before. Now, I don't know what they did in the military. That's why I'm glad that Jason brought that up, because I didn't know, that. I just knew that through college that they would, do the hazing with the guys and all that stuff, but I'm grateful to know that, but I look at for my father as a pillar of strength. I look at military men. And in fact, I dated two that were really meaningful. 2 out of 3, they were military, because they had a good balance. They had that discipline that I understood about, and making sure everything was clean, neat, everything going on, and being able to do different things that you knew that they could do, and therefore it lifted me up, to say, okay, well, shoot, let me keep moving forward through this and through that, because that's my mindset, and so I want to be supportive to a guy that can actually do something just like that. And it doesn't have to be he has all this money either. That's not what makes, for me, the nice guy be a good gentleman. It's not your money. It's about your whole moral character. So if you haven't served the military, don't mess with me. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, look, I want to thank y'all for coming out, man. We pushing on that 2-hour mark. And I don't know about you, my name. And I want to go into the rest of this week a little more headstrong. But I want to thank you all for coming out. Man, Mystic, Greg, Anna, Christy, Lo, Jason, everybody watch Twitch, Facebook for coming out, following on the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button. We will be back tomorrow. This was definitely a exceptional conversation. I'm certain someone is going to get something out of it. Any last thoughts from the people before we close out?
I'd love to have this conversation again. Honestly, I think that this is something that we can go even more in depth with. That we can learn even, we can go even in different directions with this. It's such a large topic, covering it in 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours. I don't know if that would be enough time. We could actually hold many discussions based on just this concept. So I think this is something that you might want to consider revisiting at some point. It's an idea.
Oh yeah.
I just want to say that for the women that are listening out there, you know, being able to, Jason put it so eloquently, we don't need the nice guys, we need the good gentlemen. And if you don't feel that you deserve that good gentleman, go for the nice guy. Because there's somebody who's going to not have exactly what you need. So we need to be looking at in both categories. But particularly with women, it's okay to be celibate. It's okay to not just be in these relationships or accepting less because they don't know who they are or they don't want to be able to get the help that they need. That's not a real man. So know the difference and be a woman and support these guys that, you know, that your friends and your family, your community, support those that don't have the emotional the emotional capacity to do things. That's all. Let's work together.
All right. Well, we definitely going to spin the block on this one. Y'all know how to reach me. You guys have a blessed night. Sleep well. Tomorrow's hump day. So close the week out strong. And until next time.
Peace.